Hi everyone, welcome back to Vital Healing. For those of you that are new to my channel, my name is Dr. Candida Schwartz. I am a naturopathic doctor as well as an intuitive healer. For Thursday's episode, I wanted to talk about a topic that is pretty personal for me. It is a generalized illness, anxiety, and it is also known as, very loosely as being a hypochondriac. And I wanted to talk and give you kind of a personal understanding of why, like my own personal story around this topic, and how so many of my patients and clients, especially recently, have been coming to me with excessive fear around their health, and some ways to kind of tease out whether you should make the call to the doctor. And if you are approaching the doctor and making the call to the doctor, how you could talk to them to give yourself a sense of comfort around how you've been heard and how you explained yourself. In 1990, I was a senior in high school, and for the superlatives, I was lucky enough to get class hypochondriac. So I am almost 48 years old. In October, I'll turn 48. So for decades, my partners, my current partner, my husband, my family, my friends, my doctors, I was labeled as a hypochondriac. And when I was younger, it wasn't the big illnesses I was concerned about. In some ways, when I was younger, I sort of felt invincible. I took a lot of risks that probably could have ended up pretty tragic, but I was more concerned around oh, do I have strep throat? Do I need antibiotics? Did I eat something? Was it bad? Am I going to throw up? Am I going to have some kind of infection? It was more just like day-to-day illnesses rather than bigger, scarier diagnoses. But as going to medical school, just FYI, did not help the hypochondriacism. Did not. It actually probably made it worse, especially because, when you're in medical school, and I waited tables a couple of nights a week, and I put in 70 hours a week for 5 years. I was exhausted. So that kind of also messes with your brain and how you process things. And anyways, so being exhausted didn't help everything that I was learning and how I was kind of turning it into something that was something I had or I was going to have, right? So, who's with me? Let's get a conversation going around this. Who can identify with this? Who's on Dr. Google? Who sees things as being a sign? Like I'm worried about cancer, and then my best friend calls me and tells me that her friend just got diagnosed with cancer. We start reading into signs, and especially when you're an empath and an intuitive, sometimes it can be hard to tease out what is actually reality and what is something that you're picking up from somebody else. So in this video, I will talk a little bit more about how we can get to a place where we understand where these fears around getting sick, getting an illness, and being a hypochondriac, where they began. And I will lead a short guided meditation to kind of help us sort through those emotions and figure out, should I call my doctor? Should I follow up? I see these fears a lot in as a naturopath and as an intuitive, whether I'm giving a reading or a naturopathic appointment. A lot of people are afraid, and it's also my job to decide what needs a deeper workup, what needs just a little bit of support around fear and anxiety, because I have a lot of tools and tricks around this, or tips around this. So again, a dialogue would be great. So comment below and let's start talking, because this is such a chronic, this is such an epidemic. You know, these fears around illness are such an epidemic because we live in a toxic world. Lots of stuff is out there that can, you know, wreak havoc on our cells and make us sick. So for me personally, as I explored all of my fears around illness and my being a hypochondriac, I remembered that at the root cause, my mother would get terrified if anything was wrong with us. And me being her baby and me being so like her, like even my skin is like hers, she would get so afraid and immediately call the doctor about anything. A sniffle, she would freak out, and I'd hear her on the phone, and she had her very thick Italian accent, and she'd call my doctor, Dr. Holtz, who died about, he died in 2001. And she would, say, I've got Candida here, and she's got, she's got a sore throat, and I'm nervous, so I'm going to bring her in. I'd like to bring her in. So hearing that fear in my mother's voice increased my own fear. Because if mom's afraid, and she was my best friend, she's my mom, then I should be afraid. That was my number one thing that I realized upon exploration. The second thing was that as I got older, and I would talk to my mom, and mom would talk about Italy and her family. Her parents died before I was born and when I was a little girl. And she told me the story about how she had a sister, and that she was named after her sister. And I remember being, that's weird. And then it was because her sister died when she was 8 years old. She fell off of I think a jungle gym. That's as much as I can translate the Italian. But I think it was like a jungle gym. She fell on the pavement and she cracked her head open and died immediately. So then my mom was born many years later, and my grandmother was probably 46 or 47 years old when they got pregnant with my mom. So she was an older mom, and she was terrified and chronically worried, constantly worried about my mom. She wouldn't let her do anything. She was just so afraid. So mom picked it up from her mom. And then the legend kind of goes, like the story goes, as I've talked to my family members in Italy, that my grandmother and my grandfather, after their daughter died, they went crazy. So, which is, understandable. Losing a child is probably the worst thing that could happen to you. I mean, that's how I see it. So those were two things that I felt like I probably learned the behavior, but it was probably also just kind of in my blood, my grandmother carried that fear when my mom was in utero, and then mom carried it, and then it was, it probably just got passed through the generations of women in my family. So it's something that I had to explore. When I was, then the other thing that I've noticed is that as I became, 43, 44 years old, I started to endure traumas, like more trauma in my own personal life. My mother had Alzheimer's, and then when I was 42, she was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, which is a malignant tumor in the blood. And it was very traumatic to sort through watching her for years in her Alzheimer's. And then it was obviously very traumatic to hear that she had cancer, and that it was not something that it could be treated, but it could never be cured, and that she would die from it. and it was just a matter of years. And then as mom got sicker, there was a major trauma that happened with her. And my husband and my sister and I, we dropped everything. We were living on the West Coast, and we dropped everything. We came back to Maine to take care of my mom. And I was, I helped her around the clock. Like, we took care of her around the clock. And so I cleaned her and I fed her. And after about a year of that, I was told by the oncologist that I should probably have, double gloved and I always gloved up when I cleaned her, but I didn't glove up after she, got medications when I fed her. So that kind of freaked me out a little bit. And also in this time period, my brother, who was 53 and perfectly healthy, he was killed very suddenly in on a job site. He was a construction worker, and he was dead within 20 seconds. It was very abrupt and very sudden and very traumatic. And then, in these last few years also, I have lost 2 second-term babies, and that was very traumatic. So, in your mid 40s, you're midlife, right? It kind of felt like my midlife crisis, like my own kind of looking at my own, like myself, like as somebody who is no longer 21, no longer 25, no longer even 30, but as parents get older and things happen in your life, you realize that things can happen in your life. So the fears around getting sick, getting Alzheimer's, getting cancer, here in Maine, we're all very worried about contracting Lyme's disease. But, heart attacks, brain aneurysms, those kind of scary, sudden, silent killers, those are the things that people come to me with a lot of fear around, and that I've had a lot of fear around within my own life, because I realized I'm not invincible. And so I've had to explore those thoughts, and that has been pretty intense. And I've noticed this week in particular, a lot of my patients and clients are coming to me with this. So I wanted to get to this way to kind of approach it. So I'd love for you all to kind of wiggle your toes and connect to the earth. And you might want to grab, these are some of my favorite rocks. This one is a heart. My husband found it for me. This is a beautiful stone. It's got a stripe through it, which makes it lucky. That's how I was taught. These are some other lucky stones, ones that I've stopped. You might want to put them on your feet, or you might want to put them in your lap. If you're feeling you want something a little bit stronger, shungite's a really amazing grounding stone. Hematite, obsidian. You might want to put those at your feet. You might also want to consider some amethyst or some selenite or some moonstone. Selenite, moonstone, amethyst, to connect you to your higher self. So you might want to, this is what I would do. I would put them in my bra. Get them into my heart center. I always have stones in my bra, FYI. Okay. Other things you could do, rose quartz, very calming. Citrine, really great for getting centered within yourself, connecting with your true self. And then jade is the ultimate heart stone. Throw them in my bra. Okay. So immediately I can feel myself getting centered just with these stones. And as I looked at my root causes and why my fears were getting kind of worse and worse as the years went on, I was able to, in my meditation, find those points. So right off the bat, I'm going to ask for the Archangel Michael and the Archangel Raphael to come through on my left and right side, respectively. And I'm going to ask Michael to take away everything that isn't mine. Did I pick this up from a patient? Did I pick this sudden fear up from my mom? Did I, am I just sensing the world? Like, am I just sensing the energy globally around these fears? COVID's a big one. So if it's not mine, I'm going to ask Michael to take it for me. And I'm going to let Michael sort that out with the other souls, the other people that it belongs to. Because there's nothing more I can do for it. So I'm going to give it back to them. As an empath, that can be sometimes kind of tricky. So just take some nice deep breaths. You might want to wiggle your toes. And now go ahead and let's spin your heart chakra. So right in the center of your sternum, just notice your heart. And as you notice your heart and you notice what it's feeling, and I'm going to link a few other meditations that are coming up that I think you might enjoy, that you could also incorporate into this meditation. But as we're doing that, we're going to quiet our brain. And just kick Dr. Google out. And again, kick out that one person that got that one thing, or that epidemic, or that pandemic. Just kick it all out of our brain. And let's ask Raphael to hold all of that knowledge that just kind of isn't working for us right now. I'm just going to ask for a clear connection between my mind and my heart. So take some nice deep breaths. And for those of you that have worked with me before, let's turn on a waterfall from your crown all the way down your spine to the tip of your tailbone and just let go. Notice any parts of your body that are kind of lit up or tense or tight or experiencing that feeling that's making you scared. So all of a sudden I have this headache. Okay, so let's relax all of the energy around the headache, put it down that waterfall, give it up to Mother Earth, let her recycle it, wiggle your toes, do some Kegels, ladies, spin your feet chakra. For me, when I get scared, it's like my brain gets tight, my heart starts to get tight, and my grounding is gone. My feet are cold, my legs get no circulation. That's what happens to me. What happens for you? Notice what happens in that moment of fear. I'm afraid that something is really wrong with me. We know that stress aggravates everything. So let's sort through the emotional drive around the symptoms, around the mental knowledge, around the diagnoses, and allow the waterfall to go to Mother Earth, our ultimate mama, who recycles. And let's wiggle our toes and bring the energy, grounding our limbs, our lower limbs, our hips, our abdomen, our heart, deepening our connection with the stones around us. Noticing again any place that feels blocked. You might want to cut the waterfall there, do another one, and then breathe the energy recycled from Mother Earth. Breathe the energy up into the belly, up into the reproductive organs, into the various organs in the torso, up through the spine, relaxing all of the muscles. Breathing the energy up into the heart. Let's go ahead and do another waterfall. Wiggle those toes. Breathe the energy up through the lower limbs. Arrive at the heart. Breathe the energy up through the back of the spine, up through the shoulders, up through the tensions. And just kind of notice what's shifting. Take some nice deep breaths into this and ask for the angels. I'm using Raphael and Michael today, but you can use the energy of a tree. You can use the energy of an animal, the energy of a flower, of the stones, different healing masters, different goddesses. Again, let's cut the waterfall at the neck, and then let's breathe the energy up through the neck, up through the throat, up through the ears, up into the center of the mind. Just again, kicking out anything that is blocked, that is lit up, that is tight, that is tension, that is preventing flow in your body. And then let's arrive at the crown and notice, where are you feeling in your life unlucky, doomed, forgotten, unhealthy, undeserving? Where are you having a hard time connecting to your higher self, to God, to spirit, to the divine, to the universe, to whoever, whatever you believe is out there? Are you going through thick clouds of depression, of fear? Is it a block on top of your head? Is it a tiny, tiny light? Let's ask the angels to help sort it out for you. You have this beautiful energy filling up your entire body, and it's sitting at your crown. Use this beautiful earth energy to connect with your higher self, to bring in some information, and ask, where is this fear coming from? Say to yourself, I know that the opposite of love is fear. So where am I low on love? And just take a minute and listen. If you need to, pause this video. Take 5 minutes. Take some nice deep breaths. And as you start to notice where those root cores, those root source points are, ask yourself to go to that trauma. Ask yourself to go to that time, place. Feel yourself in that room. Feel yourself and earth and spirit and all of these beautiful higher light beings cradling, comforting, holding, empowering, clearing all that is not true and bringing in awareness to what the truth is in that moment. So if you're a little kid and it happened, or you're in your 20s or your 30s, whenever it was, just notice the roof opening up in that room. Notice divine spirit and earth filling up that room with clarity, with protection, and with your heart's intentions for what you want in this life, for what you want for yourself in this life, and how you can start healing this part of you so you can connect it with who you actually are and who you're evolving and becoming. So I'm noticing that all of our future selves are coming into the room also. Notice yourself, how healthy and beautiful you look. And just take some nice deep breaths. And thank yourself for this really beautiful, powerful courage that you've exhibited today to listen to this video and explore this meditation and look at your deepest parts and integrate healing for you as a whole person of body, mind, and spirit. Let's invite spirit and earth to just fall down your body with this beautiful integrated light, blessing every cell of your body, raising every cell of your body, mind, and spirits, every aspect of your entire being, raising the vibration, upgrading your life, upgrading your health, upgrading your momentum, what you want to do with your energy. How do you want to use your energy? And just notice that every part of you, past, present, and future, is being blessed by you, within you, throughout you, holistically. And now spin a message in your heart. Put your hands over your heart and spin a message. I am healthy. I am strong. I am blessed. And let that message go through your blood, through your DNA, and circulate, again deepening the blessing as that blood touches every cell of your body in healing. Take a couple of nice deep breaths. So just kind of notice from this neutral space, would you like to call the doctor? And if you do want to call the doctor, you can do it from a calmer place. You can say, I've got X, Y, and Z going on. I'd love to set up an appointment to get it sorted out. But at least you made the choice from a grounded, integrated space. And if you find that all of those symptoms went away, maybe you could give yourself permission to be free of that fear, at least for today. Let me know how it goes for you. Comment, share, like, subscribe. It really helps my channel and it really helps get my voice out there. And I'm so appreciative of you taking this time to watch this video. So thank you so much. Take great care of yourself. For information about me, you can go to Vital Health Clinic, vitalhealthclinic.net. You can subscribe for my newsletter, and you can find out all sorts of different things about my work and what I offer. So, in really great health and really beautiful vitality, I send you so much love.